You know what I mean? And you can say things if you feel like it. You can just try and say things. You know, like how bumping against stuff is fun. And then we can also check why is it so difficult. Then we can also sort of check if the volume levels are in any way reasonable. And also remember, you're trying to get to like 12:30, let's say, or 12:20. Okay. Yes.
2 columns with flowers. An apple opens. A flower opens. Yellow stars fall from the sky and transform into people's names. Yellow bananas fall from the sky and transform into you. You transform into a star, high up above. The bomb beats like a heart. Playing this game is making myself. It's crazy.
Slowly get the hang of it. It's interesting. Like learning about yourself. Crazy. Like I'm literally just learning. Okay. So, wow, that's so interesting. I'm literally learning stuff about myself playing this game. It's so fucking crazy.
With this remote, I learn about my position in space. My position in space doesn't change. The game's position in space. The words are separate. The words join separately. Random selfie. 2 columns with flowers.
Holy crap on a stick. Okay, bye. What the hell? Where did you go? What is... Oh, right. Hallelujah. How the hell do we do this? I can't remember now. Wow, yeah. Sort of interesting. I think my voice might be so quiet here. It's outstanding how quiet my voice must be. Yo, bananito. Okay, now we're gonna try and go down this path. That's what we're gonna try to do. Okay, we're gonna try to go down this path now.
With failure, success, the relationship that I have with my own sense of speed, my own sense of my speed, my patience, my determination, my resilience. And as I navigated the game, I was getting more and more acquainted with my speed, my senses of determination, myself, the stuff that I was doing that somehow was making the game work, you know. A letter on his t-shirt. I stay still, right? But the game moves on. I step one step at a time. when you're thinking, isn't it common to think of like one thing against another thing, for example? You know, contrasts, divisions, logical statements of that kind. When you're thinking in terms of things, whatever, right? There's this thing, and I'm comparing it to this other thing, or I'm separating from this other thing, I'm uniting it to this other thing. I'm already thinking of things and a certain kind of separateness that I think requires some sort of a notion of an occupation of space. There's this thing, and then there's also this other thing that occupies some different kind of space than this other thing. And one thing you think of first, and then the other thing you think of second. A circle of letters. They hit the camera. They hit it. On the other hand, though, when you're thinking about like one thing or two things, three things, really, what difference does it make? Is there a difference between a million thoughts and one thought? You know, is there a difference between a huge amount of pain, a million times magnitudes of pain, and one little magnitude of pain? In terms of what I move in the same space, but everything is completely different. The color blue is below and the color red is above. Blue is down, red is up. Falling down is bad. Going up is good. Going down is your fear. Going up is your desire. You desire to go up. You fear going down.
Issue with the color red is that it is the color of the sun, of stars, and of fire, so that when it is placed above,
when you fall, the below becomes the above. When you rise above, the below becomes the above. When you fall, the above becomes the above. When you rise up, the below becomes the above.
so I guess the color blue, it just rained.
Hello, I am here for hey, what?
So, today I dreamt that.
Basically, it was like a porno movie, but it was filmed by me and like 7 other copies of me on like a video call. It was like 7 different cameras with me on them on some sort of a group, a group call on the computer. And we all the different versions of me played different roles. And there's not a clear way in which we could have been physically in contact with one another. We were in contact through the different, like through the screens, the different screens, I suppose. Dreams are an interesting thing, right? And it's hard to describe it, but it's definitely important for Monkey Ball, because Monkey Ball is born from a dream. In fact, the dream gives Monkey Ball, gives Ai a little spell that, when invoked, develops this big ball, right? And the ball is a protection against errors, against problems that Monkey Ball will have to face on their journey towards the space. The story seems to be that we live on a peaceful island. Ai, Mimi, and Baby live on a peaceful place, and Gongon comes to bring war and steal all the bananas. This war causes Ai to sort of run away, enter into like survival, avoidance, dodging, avoidances, problems. And this is so tiring that he falls asleep. In his dream, he meets the Grand Monkey, who tells him, yes, there is a sacred space with bananas up in the sky. You can go there. But there will be many actual dangers for you to avoid on the way there. So here is a spell. The spell, I think, was AA Poo. And this enchantment, if you speak it, it will bring a protection upon you that will protect you on your travels towards this world, so to speak. So really, this game is in great part about a spell. So it's something that is said out loud, and it comes to you in a dream, in a moment of terror. Through this dream, through this place in the dream, comes through a spell. And this something that comes through the dream will sort of protect Monkey Ball on their travels, A, B, C. It's a spell, right? Hey, making this video is really stressful for some reason. Light often means that things can be seen, and darkness often means that things can't be seen. Light often means that your eyes are open, and your darkness means your eyes are closed. Often when our eyes are closed, it's because we're dreaming. Often when our eyes are open, it's because we're awake. So in this game, you're going up, and in this game, you're going down. Up is something you see. Down is something you're not really looking at. You're not really looking for down. Down is something you don't want. Up is something you want. You want to get up. So it could be that you want to go towards seeing and you want to get away from non-seeing. It could be you want to go towards what you see and get away from what you don't. However, you exist within a ball and you can't see what's outside it. You only see what's in the confines of your ball. And you could say, for example, that your dream has told you about something that you didn't know. There was something you didn't see, but the dream saw, and the dream told you. So the issue here for me is, what did the dream see? What does the dream know? So what really bothers me now is this issue of words. Ai is dreaming. There is language in the dream. It is a spell. This spell gives him something in the waking world. But what exactly can Ai do? Now with this ball he can avoid problems. These problems can be very complicated. And it can truly be a challenge to do it without this word. These. It's something that could be done with words that couldn't have been done without them. Really, it's the first words that come out. There is nothing in those words. It comes out from a place that Ai has no idea where it came out from. You could say that Ai wasn't conscious of those words. You could say that Ai couldn't see them. There is something, therefore, where something that Ai couldn't see at all. Something invisible. Something he wasn't thinking about. Something that... Obi. Aha, a great sign. And you could say Ai feels all sorts of things. It's as if something inside of him is alive. It cries out from him. So what kind of a dialogue is it, right, between us and you? Well, I think it's the kind of dialogue where you're listening to me, right? Yeah. And I'm listening to you, right? And I want you to do something that I want you to do. Right, I hear that, but I'm not quite sure who is it that that's asking me and that you
Right,
are.
no, but I mean, no, but it is a good question because I'm confused about who you are. Right, but I could say the same. I could say I'm confused as to who you are, right? The ice world has a snowflake covering the roof of the igloos. This intrigues me because it is a flat shape, a 2D shape, used as a decoration on a 3D shape. Now, this is emphasized because the 2D snowflakes that come twirling down are very clearly 2D flat surfaces. This is the key of the game. Monkey Ball is a game about a ball, a 3D ball, a sphere, interacting with a surface, a 2D board. The ice columns surrounding the igloo also feature a sort of spiky shape on their top, as if the tops of objects should explode into multifaceted, multi-winged, multi-shaped star shapes. Another key of this landscape, however, is that the penguins are not in their igloos, they're outside,
They're waving to you and performing the role of spectators, clearly making eye contact with the player. So there is a contact between two beings, a hello, a hey there. This is the only time, as far as I know, that this happens. So this happens in the coldest level, presumably. One is outside, waving at the player. One interacts with people. The snowflake, a spontaneously occurring decorative element, a part of nature, so to speak, is used as a decorative element on an agent-constructed structure, the igloo, a building. The platforms are seemingly covered in an icy glaze. And the ending goals are also covered in icicles. The natural process has enveloped the human-constructed process. This seems to be the only time this happens. The desert level, for example, has no sand on its platforms. The jungle level has leaves decorating the goal, but unlike the icicles, these leaves are nicely arranged. There has been some minimal floral arrangement, some, to my eyes, gardening. So what does this mean for the ice level? It's as if ice is the only element that is allowed to affect the human construction. It affects it directly. It affects one's decorative urges, even since the penguins decorate their igloos not with penguin-made designs, but with designs that echo directly the natural element of the snowflake. So the snowflake has affected both the board, by crusting a layer of icicle and frostiness and snow onto it, but also the igloo, by affecting its design decisions, those of the penguins. Ice is a very slow thing. It moves slowly. It freezes and freezes until it is totally static, frozen block. Unlike fire, water, or sand, it has a tendency, to my eyes, to be very still, or to tend towards stillness. Waving at someone, looking at them, paying attention to them and making eye contact, it establishes a link. Now, they are no longer two separate objects. Some sort of union is established between them. The gaze of one person sticks onto the gaze of another, the way an icicle sticks onto the stage. If you allow my corny comparison, you could say, for example, that ice is a way in which two water drops which previously had flowed separately from one another now become joined together, a frozen together, a path that winds down. The desert is decorated by language, what seems like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, I guess, bordering the sides of the platforms. This language was likely written by someone. It was likely written by and spoken by someone. There are constructions in the sand, what seem to be like columns or even walls and rooftops, depending on how you look at it, and they're all sunken down, covered by sand. Covered. It is perhaps a structure that people lived in, but don't live in anymore. And maybe they were the people who used those languages we see. So there is perhaps some notion of the past, stuff that was alive before and is no longer. But we see the signs of its liveliness. It says to us, we were alive. The platforms surrounding the area let giant rivers flow down its surface, first from the topmost circle down to the lower circles, covering them in water. Then that water that completely covers the second circle flows out and becomes the water that covers the third. The water slowly flows out of one and into the other, filling them in turn and then covering them up. Atop the circle is a shape, a star and a moon. The moon seems to envelop the star, to my eyes. It seems as if the moon is in a circle surrounding the star. The jungle area seems to feature mostly flat surfaces as its levels. The decorations on the boards are wavy lines and zigzaggy lines and dots, a sequence. A wave that is soft and a wave that is sharper in its turns. The vines that crawl up from that level are surrounded by even slower vines, that zigzag at a slower level, its turns being slower than the turns of the inner one. The inner vine zigzags at a much higher speed. Water is a machine place. There are gardens with corals, red corals in the center, surrounded by green-toned corals. A machine is like water. Pistons and pumps create a flow. A machine is a structure created with a certain amount of thoughtful planning, that it houses a growing garden that grows, seemingly, in a spontaneous way, following its own path. A path grows out of non-plannedness, and vice versa. I have a big clown in my pants. Clouds are on the sky. Clouds are billows of smoke or vapor. Vapor comes out, or smoke comes out of these houses. It forms rings, and the buildings itself, the big building, is a ring, many rings. The rings are all one inside another. People are inside their houses, they don't come out. We can see signs of their life by the smoke that comes out. One thing is inside, and other things come outside. It's sunset, a big sunset. What it says, this means whatever it means. Big clouds of vapor come out of the pipes. There are like cloud generators, pumping vapor out like streams or showers showering down on the world. Bananas grow here, on the vines, finally, after a whole travel. A building grows out of the water. It has the same shape as the buildings sunken in the sand, with its 4 columns. This world features rainbows as a playable area, a spectrum of light. A rock rolling down a hill. A clown hits a person with a knife. A woman is dancing in my mind. It says, "This is the secret to life." It says, "This is the secret to life." Now, this has nothing to do with this level, but the water level is full of technology, but not so much as the diner. Or in fact, it's the other way around. I'm a writer writing a text. Give it to the minions for being so funny. Big rain falls on this one. Rain falls on the fire, and there are stained glass windows. These are images from Slashout, another Sega game with the same characters, those spiky guys. There is a thin foundation to stand on. The levels are thinner, and the levels fall down into not clouds, not a huge abyss, but just blackness. Long spiky shapes poke out of the world. They are pokey, and swords, and shapes that go poke and go upwards. The clown dances a lot. A speaking widow cries. It says, "This is the speaking secret to life." There are diners here. There are people dancing and guitars. Curry and ads. People are appealing for you to buy. You see the people. They are inside the building, but you see them.